All right. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Brand Doctor podcast episode. Today, I want to shed some light on a topic of discussion that I've been getting a lot of question about, and I want to share a little story with you to help you sort of understand what happens if you're in the client services business and leads start drying up on you. And business starts to slow down. What do you do? So let's dive into it. So I had somebody reach out to me on Facebook a few weeks back, sort of in a panic. Listen, Henry, I love what you're doing. Love your messaging. You got a lot of great things to say. I've been using some of your stuff and things were awesome. And I did over $187,000 in 90 days. And now, after I've gotten all that work done, I don't have any more work left. And I'm starting to panic a little bit. It's been a couple of months and, it's like, I don't know where I'm going to generate the next buck from. I got a wife, I got 2 kids, I got 2 car payments, I got a mortgage. How do I get things revved up again? And you could hear it in his voice. I felt for this guy. I really didn't know what to say because this happens all the time. And especially if you're a coach or consultant and you're in the client services business, how do you keep those leads coming in, right? So I had to tell him, I said, listen, dude, let me ask you a question. What's your average day look like? What's your average day look like? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, when you wake up, what do you do? Like, what do you do throughout your day? And so I'll save you the details, but what I've realized is the guy was spending way too much time on non-revenue generating activity. And he was getting bogged down in the minutia and things that he should not be doing, like tinkering around in ClickFunnels, trying to build his funnel out himself, and on social media for 4 hours, replying to comments and finding other types of strategies and he was doing all this stuff that wasn't making him any money. And I said to him, we got to do something about this guy, because if you continue to do what you're doing, you're going to be out of business. And so I said, we got to focus on more revenue generating activity and put some sort of strategy in place, put some sort of plan in place. It's funny. I was reading something from Sean Whalen on Facebook not too long ago about how he was helping his clients develop the plan or the blueprint to help them grow their business. And if you don't have that in place and you're just going from job to job to client, you're not going to have any consistent work coming in, and you're going to be floundering every time this cycle starts to come through. And so I just want to share with you guys that are listening to this on the podcast, I'm actually doing this Facebook Live simultaneously. So for those watching on Facebook Live, if you have any questions or comments, I want to get you guys involved. I want to have you engaged. So leave your questions in the comments and I will get back to them, as soon as I get done telling this story. So long story short, I told him, listen, do a discovery call with me. It's $100. I'll talk to you for 30 minutes and I'll help you sort of digest some of the stuff that is going on and put you in the right direction. I don't know if I'm going to be the right fit for you, but if I'm not, I'll point you to some colleagues that may be able to help you. Right. So long story short, he makes the call about a week later. We get on the call and I start asking him some more deeper questions, and he really starts to get some clarity now on what exactly he's missing inside of his business. So I told him, listen, you could come on board and we can help you build this thing out, or you could take this information and figure it out yourself. So he said, you know what? I want to cut time down. I don't want to make mistakes. Let's just hold my hand and take me through this process. So he comes on board as a Brand Accelerator client, and I start walking him through the discovery sessions that I have with him. And he starts to get the clarity. He starts to get that focus back. And he starts realizing he's spending so much time on things that don't matter that he's losing precious revenue by not focusing on those tasks that are bringing in the business, right? So I bring him through, he starts implementing this, and within 3 weeks, he has to hire an outside salesperson because the amount of applications coming in were that tremendous. He would have been on the phone all day. So it's those aha moments. It's those moments of clarity. Jodine Bergstrom says, those moments of clarity, or those aha moments that we get when we actually have a coach helping us, that helps us fast track our growth as business owners, right? And so, I told him in the time being before, so there was some time in between we spoke on Facebook and the time he booked this call. And so I told him in the time being, dude, it's time to go old school. And he's looking at, and you could tell his ego was a little bit dented or a little bit, bruised when I was explaining what I wanted him to do, right away, to try to get him some result right away. And I said, dude, you got to pick up this thing. You got to pick up this thing and you got to start making phone calls. You got to start calling old clients and you got to start getting them back on the phone, seeing where you can help, seeing where you can, and he just got off of this high of doing close to 200,000 in revenue in 3 months. He was like, well, I'm too good to make those outbound calls. Like, he didn't say that, but that's what he was saying. And I told him, well, listen, you can sit there and feel sorry for yourself. You can continue to tinker around in places inside of your business that you shouldn't be tinkering around in, like trying to build your own marketing funnels and designs and all that stuff. You could continue to sit there and complain about algorithms on social media and all that, and then come back to me and tell me how that has helped you generate more lead. And he sort of looked at me and he says, dude, you're right. It is what it is. And so he got after it and he started getting on the phone and sending out those cold emails. And, I could tell you I've had downtime in the past where you sit there and you say to yourself, well, what am I going to do today? Right. And next thing you know, I see myself making those emails, sending those emails out, making those quick phone calls. I'll give you another quick example. So it was a couple weeks ago, I had some downtime, and my sales coach, we have calls every Saturday. So he said to me, listen, on your downtime, what's it going to hurt to send a few emails out to current clients? So I have a list and I do 6 or 7 a day. All right. Hey, how you doing? Long time no talk. Hope everything is well. If you ever want to jump on a quick call with me, we got a lot going on, a lot of new offerings and stuff. See if I can help you out in any way, right? Plus, I want to see how your business is doing, if there's anything I can do to help, right? So I send out a bunch of those, right? So my friend and a client who owns a multi-million-dollar catering company, all right? He's got massive clients, right? Big name clients. We jump on a call it was 2 Thursdays ago, and we're chatting about business. And he's used me now for like 10 years. So he's seen the evolution of Henry Kaminski and Unique Designs and the Brand Doctor, and he's seen me grow. And he's like, I love what you're doing, and you've come a long way, and so on and so forth. He says, so where are you struggling now? And I said, well, I just want to get out in front of more people. I want to get in front of more notable people. I want to help more people and impact the masses. So he says, all right, well, what are you doing locally? I said, well, not much, to be honest with you. And I'd love an opportunity to just get out of the house once in a while. So he says, all right, I'll tell you what, let me look at my calendar. So he looks at his calendar and he says, listen, there's this Chamber of Commerce meeting It's actually a leadership awards breakfast that's coming up next Thursday. Do you want to come with me as my guest? And I'll introduce you to some of the people. So the Meadowlands Chamber of Commerce in New Jersey is one of the biggest chamber of commerce in the state, right? And the keynote speaker, the person that was actually getting awarded, was this guy by the name of Frank Vuono. And I don't know if you guys heard of me talk about Frank, but I had met Frank like 15 years ago when I used to work at the hospital. And he actually sponsored an event, one of the SIDS events or whatever. And I remember his face and I remember his name, but he owns a huge marketing company, 16W Marketing here in New Jersey. And he was nominated. So he does a speech. It was an awesome speech. I was fired up. He made a lot of great points. And so after this, as everything was wrapping up, my buddy John introduces me to Frank. Now, Frank has quite the track record. He's been in this game 30, 40 years at this point, right? He started at Young and Rubicam and worked his way up. He worked for the NFL for 7 years, did some amazing things for the National Football League, and then opened up 16W, and now he manages, Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason and Howie Long, and correct me if some of those names are wrong, but he works with these Hall of Famers now, right? And he's doing this amazing job. He's actually going to be on the Brand Doctor podcast on May 9th. So you guys want to tune into that. You're going to love that episode. I just connected with Frank on like a bro level. I don't know how to explain it otherwise, but he's from Lyndhurst, New Jersey, came from a modest home, a modest neighborhood, and really made a name for himself and built up this credibility and this life and this business for himself. And it was very inspiring. And so we got chatting, and I asked him, I said, "You ever been on a podcast before?" He says, "No." I says, "Well, you're going to come on a podcast with me. We'll check our schedules and make it happen." He's like, "All right." So boom, instant connection with a keynote speaker, a heavy hitter in the branding and marketing space, just by making that initial call a couple of weeks prior to a client who just put me in the right place at the right time. And it was crazy. So today I wake up 7:30 this morning, I get a text message from John again. And he says, "Dude, you're not going to believe this." He says, "I talked to the president of the Chamber of Commerce. He called me today, and he called me this morning actually. And he said, he saw you on social media, and he says, we got to get this guy involved. I got some things coming up in the chamber, and I got to sit down with him because we got to get this guy involved." And I was blown away, and I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, did you ever hear your ears ring once in a while? When I was a kid, my parents used to tell me, when your ears are ringing, that means somebody's talking about you. And it was funny. It's not too long ago, my ears were ringing. I'm saying to myself, somebody's talking about me. I wonder who it is. And so I don't know if that was the case or not. But anyway, long story short, we're going to set up a meeting, meet John, the president of the chamber. Frank will probably be there. And this may open up some opportunities that I've never thought of in a million years. I mean, I don't know what to expect. But look what happens when you just start, when you put an ego aside, when things are slow. You jump on the phone, you start making those phone calls, you start making opportunities happen for you. You don't wait for them to happen to you, and you get after it. I've been doing this for 10 and a half years, and I'm not afraid to pick up the phone when it's slow and start making those connections and phone calls again. I think a lot of folks, they get this level of success, or they get to this point in their careers and they think like they're too good or something to make those calls. And I'm telling you right now, you're fooling yourself and you're letting your ego get in the way by doing that. And you're never good enough. I mean, I should say you should never be too proud, in other words. And when you got to get out there and get your hands dirty, then get out there and get your hands dirty. I spent most of the morning designing myself these banners that we had to create, because John, love this guy. There's a small business expo in the Bergen County in the next couple of weeks, and he offered to share some space with me and be part of the expo. And He said, dude, if you have any banners or something, bring them. We got a big space. I'll share it with you. And I was like blown away. And so I'm hustling because it's May 9th, the event, and I got to get some marketing materials done. So, my team's busy working on client work. So I jumped in Photoshop and I started pounding. And that's what I did this morning. I didn't wake up and say, I'll just hand this off to my guys, and they'll get it done for me. I'll just make it priority and push everything else aside. No, I got to work. And so that's what that mentality and that work ethic, that comes from a young age. Like my father was the one who instilled that in me, and those are the things that, you sometimes take for granted. And I'm just telling you right now, don't, don't, because those are the things that are going to drive your business and grow your business and build a brand. This will speak volumes for you when people start to see that work ethic come out. And that's how you build brand. That's how you build brand. That's why people want to do business with you. They want to see that. Okay. So long story short, I keep saying that. I got to stop saying that. It's annoying. I get it. But, these are the things that happen. And when you don't have a proper plan in place, right, for generating leads while you're working on other client work, so you have this consistency versus a roller coaster type of business. And I've seen it 1,000 times where people get businesses or consultants, coaches, they get busy and they sort of turn the marketing off because they think that they don't need it. And then when the well dries up, they go into a panic like this guy. And next thing you know, they're scrambling to get more business. And so I don't want to see, that's not a business, buddy. That's not a business, guys. That's a glorified job you made for yourself. So if you want a business, you need a plan and you need a strategy. That's what's going to help you sustain the business and grow the business. And if you're trying to operate on these if you're trying to build a mansion on stilts, you're going to fail. And this is the point that I'm trying to tell you. When things get slow and the leads stop coming in, you got to muscle up, put on the gloves, and get dirty again. And don't feel like you're too proud or you're too big for that. Because I'm telling you right now, that attitude is going to put you out of business. And so I share this with you guys today because there's a lot of you folks out there that are struggling with generating more leads and keeping that pipeline of sales coming in on a consistent basis. And so without the proper strategy, without the proper game plan, you're going to be spinning your wheels like this guy did until we put together for him a beautiful framework and plan of attack and an actual marketing funnel that's tried and true and proven to help him generate more revenue for his business. And so that's the message today. And I want you to get out there and I want you to start picking up those phone calls, start picking up the phone and start sending out those emails again, because that is going to show a tremendous amount of perseverance on your end. You're going to spend more time on revenue generating activity, right? And that's going to blaze you through the slow times. Because we all know as entrepreneurs, not everything is cranking at 12 cylinders at all times. And so take this message and apply it and start to do it. Don't just say, oh yeah, you're right, Henry. You're making a good point here. I love what you're putting out there. No, that's cool and all. I get that and I appreciate that and I thank you for that. And I'm so blessed to have you guys even take the time out today and listen and hear this. But what's really going to make me happy? When I see you doing it. And then I get those PMs and emails and DMs like I applied that strategy and it freaking worked. Thank you. Keep bringing out the best in me. That's what fires me up, guys. So I got to run. I got the rest of the afternoon. I have client meetings and coaching calls, and I'm getting coached today by two wonderful individuals. So I got a lot going on, but listen, take this message, apply it, and watch what happens. And you will see yourself get through those times. But that's a Band-Aid, right? If you really want to take your business to the next level, you need a plan, you need a process, you need a coach, you need some guidance. You need that outside perspective. And that's going to help you shortcut and streamline your business growth. So real quick, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Brand Doctor podcast yet, I invite you to do so. If you haven't shared it with a friend or a colleague yet, I thank you in advance, and I invite you to do that as well. And if you like the content that we're producing for you, if you wouldn't mind just taking a second and writing a short written review about it, I would love to hear your feedback, comments, suggestions, anything. I'm dedicated to coming here every day and recording one for you and helping you build your brand, grow your business, and really create that brand identity for you that is going to help you, build a business and life that you deserve. So have an awesome day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.